Mhm.
Mm, yeah, welcome.
Yeah, and just wanting to,
Yeah, go.
I just want to acknowledge your own first act of anger here because you knew it starts at 7 p.m. and aligning your actions with your intentions and being on time is part of using anger already. So yeah, I feel joy that you're here, and I feel joy that we'll have this space together.
Yeah. So, yeah, I also feel joy that we're here, and I feel joy that I'm here with Gero as well. Gero and I started the Art of Relating together back in 2013. And the last 3 years, Gero's been living back in Germany, and the work continues, and Gero does his own work over in Germany as well. And I'm glad. Hello, Angela. Welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah, I feel glad to be collaborating again because there's a magic that flows when we work together and I enjoy that. And it's been a little time. And we started the art of relating together, but we also started reclaiming anger as a body of work, and that's had many different forms, including these online taster kind of spaces that you've chosen to step into. And this is I would say this space is an opportunity um, to look at what is your relationship with anger, and as we said in the title, to explore what does trusting anger mean? Like, what does that bring up in you? The idea to be able to trust anger. Where don't you trust it? Where do you trust it? When can you recognize it? When might you not recognize what it is or how it shows up in your life? And because when we can trust this really potent, necessary, vital archetypal force, something can relax. Parts of us that haven't felt safe or needed extra holding can feel that structure, and to be able to lean into your own capacity to hold space for yourself and trust in that is a really significant part of trusting anger and having a healthy relationship with anger. Because when you have a healthy relationship with anger, it supports your relationship with yourself to relax and expand. And then, of course, you can extend that out into relationships with other. Mm.
Yeah, and with other, it will immediately affect how you also engage with or react between, or rather say, not needing to react to other people's anger anymore. So if there's an okay for anger in your own system of knowing anger, then experiencing it outside will also change in the sense of usually I find that what I don't allow myself is what triggers me the most when I see it in others. And so that directly applies to anger. So if I have a total no to anger and my child gets angry, then the likelihood that I will try and shut down my child and the expression is much greater than if I am at peace with anger and I can hold space for myself and my child at the same time.
Mm. I'm remembering when I first came into contact with anger practice, and Gero and I were part of a somatic psychotherapy group that was journeying together for a year, and it worked with fear and anger, and we were introduced to this particular anger practice that's part of our bigger trainings now. And it's a physical practice, and there's a bit of sound, and there's movement, and there's some whacking, and I was shaking in the corner. Like I really didn't trust anger. And I didn't need to leave the room, but I just needed to, I couldn't do anything else but shake. And I think it was the next week that we met or the one after I was able to step in more and to really let this energy move through my body. And so many tears came because I could feel the strength of this energy that I was afraid of when I actually chose to use it responsibly. When I chose to let it in and I realized I can turn this on, I can turn this off, I can use it for things that I want to create in my life. And it's not just this crazy, wild, out of control thing that I have associated with this word anger. It's the same energy, it's just used differently, it's just channeled differently. And it was such a revelation. It was such a revelation in my body, like in my embodied experience, that I just couldn't not incorporate that into the work that I and Gero and I back then were starting to offer in our practices, in our spaces. And then I saw it showing up all over the place, either irresponsibly or, oh, that's responsible anger. Oh, when I asked that way, I was using anger then. I didn't realize. Mm. Mm.
Yeah, and I guess we all come from our own experience of having met anger in, I guess, different forms, either in ourselves or in others, and that would have shaped the current state of relationship with anger that each of us has. And there's nothing, it's not good or bad or right or wrong, it's just the now. And I'd love to I'd love to hear a little bit from each of you in the sense of why why can't you trust anger, or what is there in the relationship of trust uh, towards anger at this point in time in your life? Where are you at? And in that, maybe it evolving what brought you here.
And the invitation is to, yeah, you can have your mics unmuted the whole time if you want to. It's not, we don't have a request for you to turn it off. And if you want to leave it off, you can, but you're also welcome to just have it open. And then if you want to bring your voice in, you can do that. And yeah, I'd love to hear what what is your relationship between anger and trust?
I'll jump in. Yeah, in relation to my own anger, I mainly feel a lot of fear, I think, and stress. Yeah, if I feel anger in my body, then I really just feel stressed. I can easily get headaches or just a lot of tension. Um, and yeah, sorry, I got a bit mixed up there. And in terms of experience anger from other people, I really that brings for me a lot of fear. Yeah, so I go into a protective. I try to do everything I can to avoid anger in my world. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I was very intrigued. Yeah, I was very intrigued by the title. So I just thought, oh, that's interesting. Never thought of trusting anger. Let's well check this out.
I have a
Thank
question,
you.
Cheryl. When you say, when I experience other people's anger, or I heard it more with that, but also your own, I feel fear. And what's the what is the fear saying? What's the message from the fear?
The message from the fear is, I don't know what to do. I can't handle this. Yeah, I want to, get away or not be there. I don't know how to be in that space with that, with the anger.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm getting a sense, and just correct me if I'm wrong, that there's some kind of unpredictability, or not knowing what it's going to do or how it's going to be, and so it's safer to get away. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, even my own anger, I'm like, I don't really know. And I'm not an explosive person, but I might say the wrong thing or I might upset somebody, and so I don't have that. I feel fear around that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. What else? Angela, we can't hear you.
Oh,
Oh, now I can.
No.
Yes.
hi.
Yep.
Hi.
Maybe it's just a little closer.
A little closer. Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi. Sorry, I didn't realize I'd been talking on this. Somebody had shared yeah, this I don't know what she called it, but anyway, and I thought, oh, I'll just jump on. So anyway, my relationship with anger, yeah, I don't know, I've never thought about it, but I guess I do get uncomfortable seeing anger in others. And I guess there are different situations where I feel more comfortable expressing my anger, but I don't tend to express it often even when I'm feeling it. But situations that make me angry, like, it's state of affairs in the world, I can express anger about situations like that, but it's a little more difficult for me to express anger toward friend or family member if something's really bugging me.
Mm,
Because yeah, I don't know how they'll interpret that. So I tend to hold back. Hmm.
mm,
What could happen if you didn't hold back?
Yeah, it makes me feel a little uncomfortable. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how it would be taken because I'm not usually the person to express anger or, I guess, yeah.
mm-hmm.
Some sense that it would surprise other people.
Yeah, yeah. Not so much my close, for example, my immediate family. They can experience that. But for example, even some of my closest friends, they don't really, if I'm upset about an issue, I don't necessarily bring it to them or express it as a form of anger,
Mm,
even if it's, I guess, justified or valid.
mm.
Yeah.
I'm curious, because I have a sense, when we feel anger, like you said, even if I feel anger, and then but I don't bring it to my friends. When that happens on the reverse, when someone else is feeling anger and but they don't bring it, do you sense that? Do you have a sense that you can sense that?
Yeah.
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 I guess I withdraw a little bit. Whereas, like, if I think of someone in particular, their anger is it's obvious, like they can't hide it. This particular person that I'm thinking of.
Mm,
Whereas I might just withdraw and not, so it's not vengeful, so
mm.
I've had time to process it all, kind of get through it myself. Mm.
So even if we're not speaking it, it's kind of hard to hide it.
Mm. So yeah, so then that's why I withdraw. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Mm.
so it's already not speaking what's there is also already eroding trust
Mm. Yeah.
in a different kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
I'd
you.
love to be able to bring it, but anyway, yeah, it's a work in progress.
Yeah. Great. You're in the right
Thanks.
spot.
Thank you.
Yeah, also for me, like anger is yeah, something that I used to like hold inside me, inside myself, and I try to avoid as much as possible. I try to avoid to take it out because I see it like anger brings conflict, and I used to try to avoid conflict because yeah, I feel like get to a conflict in when anger is alive is like getting that conflict like blind, like not able to see properly what is happening. And it's usually what happened to me, like when I'm angry, like yeah, like I see that I interact with other people in the not in the right way, not in a truth way, in an honest way.
Mm. So when you're angry, it doesn't support you to stay in connection with the people around you.
Yeah, also with myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not able to see clearly what it's real there. I just become blind and just go through.
Mm.
So usually I just keep it inside me and try to avoid what's in there.
Mm-hmm.
And is that sort of when you say you become blind, is that sort of a blind rage where you have fear to explode and lose control in like in that intensity, or is the blindness coming from going so far into yourself that you kind of disconnect from the outside world?
I feel it's both. The first one because like I'm scared of hurting the other person, so I try to avoid that. And yeah, and the second one is like it's always been hard for me go inside me. I just started recently to look what's inside me, so like it's all new for me.
Mm.
It's a very courageous step to start looking inside, and
Yeah,
and it's also sometimes very confronting. So I hear you.
thank you.
Mm.
Yeah, what definitely landed with me was that the desire to not hurt other people. To
Yeah, when I was younger, like I used to see like people getting angry and like get mad with other people, care to them, and like or usually like there is not a good result to that. Usually there is always conflict and like that breaks the relationship, the connection. So yeah, like I have fear on doing that because I don't like that result.
Mm.
thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Philly. Anything you want to add, Alexandra? Can't hear anything.
What
Yes.
about now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Cool. Is the connection okay? My
Yep. Yep. Go.
oh great. Yeah, so I feel like currently my relationship with anger is a lot better than it has been historically. And it's something I'm very passionate about in my life because I know it's really, forming this healthy connection with it has been a really big part of my healing journey. I think the screen's frozen.
We can still hear your
you.
voice. Yeah.
You can hear me still?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Now it's completely gone.
Damn.
Oh, now you're back. Could be a proximity thing.
Yeah. Perhaps I'll stand here. That seems to be okay. Hmm.
Looks like it might be frozen again. See what happens when you speak.
Okay. I'm just going to go out. Yeah. Okay. That seems to be a bit better. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Great.
really good.
So currently it's in a lot more harmonious place than it has been. I have a history of like chronic fatigue and freeze, like a lot of freeze that has lived in my nervous system, and healthy anger work has been such a big piece for me. But yeah, something that I'm really curious about at the moment is kind of like what Jero said at the beginning, how, even an act of getting somewhere on time and like using that healthy anger to do things that matter to us. I don't know if that's. I think my connection's not
working.
great. I don't know how much of that you're hearing. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, that's something that's really, yeah. Okay, cool. That I'm wanting to cultivate more. Like in the past, because I have such a dynamic energy, my connecting to the anger would hurt myself in a lot of ways. And I've learned a lot more how to titrate that and work with that, which has been helpful. But I can see Millie, it's like I'm still learning, like, when is the time for slowness and when is the time to ride the momentum a bit more without catharting and frying myself out. I probably lean more towards being too slow, I want to say sometimes, and just like learning to stay really present in the intensity. But fuck, it's a lot. It's a lot to do that. So yeah, I really enjoyed the workshop I did with you, Stacia, when you were here, and yeah, looking forward to more opportunities to learn from you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it sounds like you've been making taking some steps in the exploration of anger and the expression, and that something is. Yeah, I think you said it's a lot better. So something has changed from one state to a current state, and in a way, it's reflects on part of what I said in the beginning, that when we have a relationship when we start to build a relationship, then usually trust grows. So part of my experience with trust is that trust can also be a choice, but experience shows that with time and consistency and reliability, trust also tends to develop. And so, yeah, sounds to me like something has worked there. Yeah, thanks for sharing.
I love that. Yeah, that's definitely something I want to choose more of, is like and I remember Stacia talking about that, like having a daily anger practice. I just feel like that it just makes so much sense. Like you said, it's building a relationship. Yeah, so beautiful. And yes, staying present in anger, like, wow. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. So here's the thing, anger is an energy that serves life. It's an energy that's in the world anyway. Basically anything that moves runs on the energy, on that fuel of anger. Anything that grows, anything that begins or that ends has something to do with anger. So more or less consciously or unconsciously, you're using it anyway. And a big part of it is getting to this realization, or to be able to internalize, embody a shift from what was associated with anger to what is possible with anger. And so a lot of the practices and a little bit of what Alexander just shared is being able to feel that shift happening in my physical body, in my emotional body, and then being able to, from that experience, more easily choose something different than I may have done in the past. And avoiding anger is, again, it's not good or bad, but essentially it's a strategy. It's a strategy to avoid or not be with an intensity, potentially, or with a perceived danger. And particularly with the element of danger, it's good to be realistic, and some situations the best thing is to create distance. But when that is sort of the only possibility of how I can deal with either my own anger or someone else's anger, then I limit my own options. And that's where we want to offer something different.
Mm. And, you know, we're using this word anger to describe certain situations or to speak around something that we know that we like to avoid or that we're afraid of, it might be uncontrollable. But if we each painted a picture, literally, but also figuratively with our words, about, well, what does anger look like? When you get angry, what does it look like in your body? And when you tell the story that when someone else is angry, I lean away, what are they doing? Like, what is their physical body doing? What does their voice look like? Because we'd each tell a slightly different story about that based on what we've been shown in our upbringing, in our culture. But mostly what I'm hearing, like what I'm picking up on from what most of you are talking about with anger, is this dangerous, unpredictable, uncontrollable force that it's just too much, and I need to not say anything that might bring it up in somebody else, push it down if it comes up in me, and avoid it. And so, you know, we're talking about this big, like, charge that's so commonly associated with anger. Oh, what the fuck did you do that for? This messiness, this violence, this thing that could be at any moment dangerous in a physical form, even though it already might feel dangerous in a feeling form or in a nervous system sense. But the thing is, that kind of big explosive anger, in my experience, is a result of having just not been able to feel our actual conscious, functional, useful anger and bring it out with clarity and just say, no, I don't want that. Or, hey, Mum, I want this. Like when we were a kid. No, I don't want to hug Uncle Bob, or I don't want to wear that dress, or I do want to, whatever it is, and being told not to be rude or not to be obnoxious, and judged for having clarity about what we want. And so we cut off our access to speaking what we want, to our clarity, to our anger, that we need to say no and yes and boundaries. And then we push it down, and we push it down, and we push it down. And 40 years later, there's a pressure cooker in there of suppressed feelings that's not just anger. And then we wonder why there's an explosion that happens or a big reaction to something that, oh, that didn't seem like a big deal, but wow, I feel furious. Or why was that person so enraged when I said that one thing? And often it's that one thing that opens a doorway, and all this stuff that's been sitting there, that's been shoved down, that's had the lid on, the door's opened a bit and out it comes. And it's not about what's happening right now. And it's really important to be aware of that, because this is one of the key distinctions, that anger in and of itself, it's not dangerous. It's just an energy. It's neutral. It's, you say yes, you say no, I want this, I want that, let's go. You create distinctions. And when that gets pushed down and pushed down, it creates this pressure cooker that's got to go somewhere at some point. And it either explodes and it spews out all over innocent bystanders or loved ones, and or it implodes. And most of us have got a strategy that tends to lean more in one direction or the other, and it doesn't mean that we don't do the other. And the implosion is more how we turn anger on ourselves. Ah, fuck it, I fucked up again, you idiot, you shouldn't have done that. And why do you keep fucking doing that? Or why don't you keep saying you're going to do this and you don't do it? And this big charge that we put towards ourselves and create so much pain for ourselves. And then no wonder it's difficult to even speak up and say, I want this, or to even know what we want, because it wasn't safe to know what we wanted and speak it, so it gets cut off. We either don't know what we want, or if we have a really clear sense of what we want or we don't, or we want to set a boundary, there's so much fear that can come at the idea to utter those words, because what if this big deluge of old stuff that's not even about what's happening right now wants to come up, and you can feel it, you sense it, your body knows it's there. And then what if I say what I want? What if I bring my clarity and they get angry at me, or they leave me, and there's so many reasons why we don't trust anger. And so having spaces where you can explore that, where you can discover and start to recognize, oh, there's a big charge there, whether it's in the other person or in you. Okay, that's not all about what's happening right now. Just knowing that can make a huge difference. But if you're still walking around just knowing that, it's still inside. So, a lot of the spaces that we offer in person are about supporting people to have safe spaces to let some of this pressure cooker and have space to come out, so that it's kind of like clearing the vessel that is your body, clearing the pipes, so that you actually have space and capacity to feel your anger speaking. Like it tells you what works for you and what doesn't really clearly. It works really well with your fear, when your fear's not being pushed down and stuck and blocked and frozen and in fight mode, or whatever is going on with the nervous system. Anything? I just want to check.
How does it land?
Yeah.
How do those words land in your body? What do you feel in your chest, in your belly at the moment? Your shoulders, maybe.
It makes me feel. It made me feel like curiosity, like desire of go deep into this journey on learn and understand how to deal with anger, and not just with that, but with more emotion and like more feelings that are alive inside me, and understand how to express them and how to live them.
Yeah, great.
Thank you. Curiosity. Curiosity is such a beautiful word. It's one of my favorite words actually in English, because it has it's kind of it has this bubbling quality, and it's in a way it's a certain level of neutrality of just let's just have a look. Let's have a look under there. So yeah, it's just I just want to really invite curiosity into the space and into yourself of yeah, what got stirred. Love to hear from the others as well.
For me, yeah, I was sort of thinking about how actually when I first started a little bit of this, feelings work, I wanted to just practice on one feeling at a time. But when you were speaking, Stacia, I was like, oh yeah, the fear comes with, with the anger or alongside, and there's, quite a bit, feels like quite a bit to juggle or to work with. Yeah, that's being human, I suppose. Yeah.
And what happens when more comes? What's the reaction in yourself? What comes up when more than one comes?
Well, I suppose I go into my head a little bit, and I get a bit overwhelmed, but maybe that's maybe it's related to, not practicing too much, not sort of doing any feelings practice, like on a regular basis, as it was mentioned earlier. But yeah, I go into my head and I feel a bit overwhelmed. But
Mhm.
Yeah. Which in a way makes total sense, because the head is the intellectual body and the feelings don't happen in the head. So in a way, it kind of makes sense that there's a bit of an overwhelm for this system, because the feelings happen in the whole body, in the heart, in other parts of your physicality, and express there. So trying to do feelings up here is, in my experience, often leads to a disconnect of head and body, which then brings a lot of this confusion or overwhelm. And we often call anger the gateway feeling, because anger is the capacity or the energy that says no, or as William, as you just said, yes, as in curiosity to look at somewhere. When I open the door, which anger can close and open, then usually the other feelings also come up, or the emotions come up. So I would say it's almost impossible to say I'm going to do anger and I don't want to do anything else, because they will come. But I can use anger to also keep all the other feelings away. So there's a definite connection between the feelings. And I can imagine that to attempt to do, let's say, one feeling topic at the time will be overwhelming from that alone, because I can't be separated in that way. But thank you very much for sharing.
Yeah, it's like these core feelings that we work with: anger, sadness, fear, and joy. They're like a team. They're a team of navigators on your side. When you can be in a healthy connection with them as they're coming up at lower levels in the moment to just help you do day-to-day stuff. But when we numb ourselves out because we're afraid of how it might come out, or how they might say, how they might react, or what they might think, or all of the fears that stop us from actually being honest, then we're having these half relationships, half truth relationships, where we're not really in relationship with ourselves, with what's going on internally. Because, as Gero said, we can use anger. Anger's a boundary setter. We need anger to say no and set a boundary. And it starts with us. And if you've learnt that fear's not okay, sadness is not okay, joy's too selfish, or it's too loud, or your anger's not okay, as soon as you make a decision, which we often make before we can even speak words, we energetically cut off. It's not okay to express this. It's not okay to say like that. It's not okay to be like this. And we're using anger to set a boundary. No to my anger. No to my fear. No, 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 no. And it's so exhausting. I would say it's very much directly connected to chronic fatigue and a bunch of other physical symptoms that come from constantly applying pressure to our authenticity, using anger against ourselves. And then, as soon as we start to choose to work with anger and this gets a little bit looser, everything else that's underneath, it's going to come up, which is great. And it can be overwhelming. The cool thing about anger is, instead of using it to set a boundary here, you can let it come up and set a boundary here. Okay, this is my space. It's like having a row of warriors around you saying, no one's coming in and no one's coming out unless I say so. And then you can hold space for yourself, which might be a whole new concept. That I can hold space for myself. I can have a boundary, not that's just my physical skin, but actually is my energetic boundary, where I'm energetically, through my intention, just by saying, okay, no one comes closer to here, and I'm holding that. And I choose to feel what's mine first. I choose to feel my fear. I choose to feel my sadness. I choose to feel my joy in my body and let it speak, rather than just being in my head speaking about my feelings. Huge jump from speaking about feelings to letting feelings speak. Different to emotional communication. Yeah. I think you had something before, Angela, when I started speaking, and I want to check if it's still there, or it looks like maybe something else could be.
Yeah, no, just as like Cheryl was speaking, and then Jero stepped in. I was thinking I do want to be more sort of grounded in my anger and present, so that I can be more authentic, because at the moment, I mean, I'm better than I used to be, but by avoiding it, I am withdrawing and creating distance. So if I'm not being authentic, I'm not being, I guess, honest with myself and with the people that I care about. So yeah, I think it's not getting in the head, because that's where that overwhelm sort of comes in, and that, yeah, I guess just feeling safe enough to bring it.
Yes.
Especially to the people you care about.
Yeah. And as I just said before, like that safety starts with bringing it to yourself first, like discovering, how does it feel from me when I allow myself to feel anger? When I choose consciously rather than wait for it to kind of bubble up and then, oh, that's too big, I need to push it down. Yeah. And my impulse is to have a little experience of that in a moment. I just want to check if there's anything else that wants to come up, be asked at this stage. So just checking in where to go from here.
Somehow the word present still echoes from what you just shared, Angela, and there's to be able to actually be present with myself, to notice what's going on inside of me, to be in the here and now. There's two really powerful tools that you can use anytime. And I will invite you to stand up, and we do a little practice together. I'm going to go one step further to stepping up. Please, if you have shoes on, take your shoes off. You can even take your socks off, because we want to go into a grounded connection. So the two elements that I want to focus on is breath and the connection that your feet have with the ground. So that's the two parts where I invite you to bring attention to. Don't worry too much about your camera, as long as you can see a little bit of me. The beauty about the breath is you can only breathe in the here and now. You can't breathe into the future, and you can't breathe breath that you didn't take in the past. So the moment you notice the breath coming in the back of the throat, in your nose, noticing the rise of your chest, maybe the extension of your belly. Possibility could be that you place one hand, the left hand on your chest and the right hand on your belly. And then when you breathe, take a breath, noticing how first the chest rises, and then if you deepen the breath even further, then you may notice that your belly rises a little bit as well. So breath is a way of being able to bring yourself into the here and now, noticing, yes, it's coming. It's also a possibility to use a bit of anger and take the breath. So drawing the breath in with, this is my breath, my next breath that I'm taking. And then letting that go. And both uses anger, because taking something and consciously letting go is also anger. Ending something, starting something, ending something. So do that for 3 or 5 repetitions, and just notice, let yourself breathe. And roughly where your lower hand lies over your belly, there's a powerful spot there. If you place the thumb of your lower hand into your belly button and then lay your hand beneath it, under your fingers or the palm of your hand is
Like
your
this.
physical center. Yes. Your physical center. It's the balance point of your physical body. And it's a really good spot to bring your attention to, your awareness to feel yourself, to notice yourself. Because your physical body has intelligence, it's really wise. It's a great source to notice potential tension, impulses.
And if you're noticing with this invitation that you're going up into your head and forgetting that you're doing a breathing thing, even though your hand might be moving up and down, which is, we can invite you to, yeah, I can see you smiling, Cheryl. It's really easy to have the invitation, breathe now, but there's a difference between breathing and being stuck in your head and spinning in your head to breathing intentionally and being in connection with your breath and your body. And choosing where you put your attention and using your anger to set a boundary. No, I'm not going to be up here. I'm going to come back in. This is one of the original boundaries that you need for yourself.
And there's something where the head gets activated in relation to the unknown. Something that you may associate with fear, where part of the back of your head that's related to vision is constantly scanning for danger. And a way of relaxing or reassuring that part is to stand and to notice that conscious connection of the soles of your feet with the floor. That's why I was bringing that in the beginning. So being aware that you're standing, that your legs standing under yourself, understanding yourself, holding yourself, supporting yourself, gives that part that checks for danger, connection to the earth, connection to the ground, support, basis, and it relaxes. It's a really good exercise to do on bare earth as well, even probably better than wherever you are right now. Being able to feel soil, that the quality of real earth, that and the breath, two really powerful ways to bring you in the here and now, to connect you to this physical center, and by bringing your awareness, your presence, your energetic center there, gives you access to the body intelligence.
So I have another step, and I just want to check if you're complete with where you're going, Gero, or are you going further?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so stay where you are.
It's just
Great. Perfect. Stay where you are standing and letting the breath get just a little bit more intentional. So just a bit of Just a little sound when you breathe out. Just a couple of times, just to notice the clarity that you can bring with having an intentional breath. And bringing your attention to your skeleton inside of your body. So there's this whole structure. And if it helps, you can grab hold of your shoulder bones or your head bones and your collarbones and your hip bones, and just to have a sense of, yeah, I've got this structure inside of my physical body.
Bones.
And these bones, when they're in an alive body, look nothing like these dry, brittle things that we pick up on the land if we're wandering around and come across a dead animal bone or skull or something like that. They're malleable, they've got liquid and energy that run through them. And in the feelings world, anger, sadness, fear, and joy, the core feelings, anger is structure and clarity. In your physical body, your bones provide the structure and the clarity. And so these two work together. Your anger is at home in your bones. Healthy anger strengthens your bones. There's a bunch of research that's happening slowly in Europe about this at the moment. Similar to what's more commonly known, the relationship between fear and the nervous system. It can get stuck in the nervous system, and it can also flow freely in the nervous system and then be very functional in service in our lives. So you have these bones. You have this anger that is a birthright of yours as a human being, this archetypal energy of anger. And as Gero just guided us, you have this center of your physical body just below your belly button. And so I want to bring this all together to have a kind of more visceral relationship with your anger by making it, we'll start with a small sound, but making a ha sound. So I'm just going to demonstrate and then we'll do it together. I'm going to take a breath in, ha, and then bring your hand down so it lands in front of your center. And so this is a really mild, low-level anger practice. And then we're just going to check in, like how is it in your body to really intentionally bring anger into your body. So I want to invite you to turn your mics on so we can all hear each other. Great. Anything more, Gero, before we do that?
So feet on the ground, relax your knees a little bit so the energy can flow in your legs.
Wait, Gero, Alexandra, there's
Yeah,
a bunch of noise coming from you. We might need you to turn the mic off again if it's.
Is that better?
I think it's an echo from us. It's an echo from me talking. Yeah, it's not working. Yep, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, go.
So once more, feeling your feet on the ground, really using the toes to grip the ground underneath you, relaxing the knees, allowing some flow in the hips, connecting to your center, underneath your navel, and then drawing the breath in and go, Stacia.
Yeah, and as you're doing this, as Gero's guiding you with your feet on the ground, feeling your body from the feet up, letting the breath get stronger first, and letting this energy, let it flow through your bones. Like imagine this energy before we even do this, that it can flow from flow through the inside of your bones. Your muscles can relax and your bones can be strong. And when we make this ha sound, the sound is coming from inside your spine, inside the bones of your spine. Ha! Okay? On the count of 3.
Ha!
1, 2, 3. Ha! And one more time with ha. 1, 2, 3. Ha! And now I want to invite a no, the word no. Same action with a no. So in your center, just feeling your center again in your body. Breath all the way through, connected to your skeleton. And this no comes from the inside out. 1, 2, 3. No.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then we'll land with a yes. Same thing. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, great. And stay in contact with your center, so down below your navel, inside your body, not just on the surface. And just notice, just for that little bit of anger energy that we've just moved then, we've just played with. What do you notice inside your body? Like, how does that reverberate in your body? What other feelings might come as you do that? So you can sit down again if you want, or you can stay standing, whatever feels like it's working for you. Yeah, I'd love to hear your voices about that. You just did a conscious anger practice.
Yeah, I felt energy moving in different ways on the base of the sound. And I still feel like a lot of energy in my spine.
Mm-hmm.
So like with the first sound, with the ha, like I felt a lot of energy moving all in my body. And with the no and the yes, felt like just movement in my chest, but in two different directions. Like the no was coming from the belly up, and the the yes was going from the top of the chest to the belly.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
No, that was lovely. It just reminds me of somatic work I did many years ago, and just feeling that lightness in the body, but also an awareness of the body, just really paying attention to, yeah, our temple, just keep them take for granted. And I think that's why it's so important to take that time for breath work and, and releasing. So it felt really lovely. I still have like a light fluttery sort of feeling in the chest and just sort of around the shoulder area.
Thank you.
Looks like you're saying something, Alexandra, but we can't hear you.
How about now?
There we go. Yep. Good.
Yeah, I really loved that. And specifically that anchoring into the skeleton and the bones. My body, I really loved that reminder. And I noticed I had this, noticing of the yes, there was a vulnerability in that. And I could feel nearly where I feel a bit more collapsed around my yes at the moment in my life. It's like I've been spending so much developing my no, which is pretty good at the moment. But I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay, my yes would like some more attention. And that feels good to notice.
Mm. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I felt like also different quality of the sound, or for, you know, the different sounds. And yeah, really felt, I think my first few ha's, I wasn't really coming from my bones, but you know, when you reiterated, Stacia, it kind of, I was like, yeah, it's come from the center of you, you know, those spaces in me. And yeah, felt more solid. I don't know, more real, kind of more grounded, maybe, you know, from having done that practice.
I notice your head's nodding, Angela.
Yeah, thank you, Cheryl. I want to pick up on the word real, more real, and trusting anger. Anger is real. It's an energy, and how we wield it depends on or shapes the outcome. But at the basis, it's real because it's one of the fundamental energies of the universe. So if I deny that, I deny part of myself, and by denying part of myself, and I deny any other person that I'm in contact with part of my authenticity. If they don't get a chance to see my clarity, they don't get to experience what is important to me, what I want, what I don't want. Something is missing. And I totally hear this sense of wanting to protect other people from the spewing out anger, but I don't want to protect people from my authenticity. So how does that go? How does building a relationship with anger to the point where I can offer my authenticity, meet the authenticity of the other person, and then look, hey, now what wants to happen? That's a really interesting point from my point of view, and yeah, I feel glad that you brought it up, Cheryl. Thank you.
Yeah, there's such a fear that I experience in so many people in the work that we do of, oh, I can't say what I really mean, or I can't bring the clarity through, which is how we can use anger, because what if they're angry, or what if they get angry, or what if I hurt their feelings? But you can't hurt somebody's feelings. You can say something and somebody will feel something, and they'll feel fear, or they'll feel sadness, or they'll feel anger, or they'll feel joy. And what if your clarity is exactly the medicine, if it's absolutely real for you, without the emotional stuff? Then it's the medicine that's needed in the space, and whatever the people around you feel, they need to feel it. It might be uncomfortable, but that could be the next key to open the next door to the deeper intimacy that you're longing for. And this sense of stability and energy, energized and groundedness that I just heard you speak about, like, this is the anger that you trust in, that you can trust in, and that you can use to hold space for yourself, to create more strength from inside your bones and around your energetic field. Hold space for yourself, for what's yours, so you can feel it more first, so you can communicate it clearly. And to take care of when you recognize, oh, that was a really big charge that spiked from 0 to hero in 5 seconds or less. Perhaps there's some emotional energy there, and then it's to be taken care of. There's healing work to do. Okay, then I'm going to make a safe space to let that move through. And we're not going to do big emotional release practices here because we're online, but in the in-person trainings that we offer, that's exactly what that's for, so that you can learn how to with others creates safety to release all of the emotional charge that you're holding, so you can build a stronger relationship with healthy, functional, powerful, magical, clarifying, vitality giving anger, because it's also passion. And fuel relationships in your life that inspire you and spark life, rather than using anger to build walls and get defensive and step away from. You can use it to create bridges or all sorts of other interesting structures. But firstly, to build solid foundations.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear if there's any questions about this work that are alive in you, or anything else that you might want to bring in. We've got 15 minutes or so before we finish.
Stacia, can you say anything more about using anger to make connection there? I guess I've only usually thought of using my anger for my own clarity, which I actually hadn't thought about as using to make connections or bridges with people.
Can you say a bit more about when you said I've only thought about using anger for my own clarity? What do you mean when you say that?
Clarity in terms of making decisions in my life, or or I guess saying no, really being able to be more clear with a no rather than a yes.
Mm-hmm. And when you bring a no into contact with someone, maybe they've made a proposal to go somewhere or do something, and you say no, then what happens?
Then there's like a period of, well, I guess a no is like a saying I don't want to do that thing. So even if I'm still staying friends with those people, maybe I wouldn't see them for a few more weeks because we didn't agree to do that thing, like there's a disconnect maybe, or
So no is the end of the conversation.
Yes.
Interesting. It looks like you're discovering something.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Can you say some more about that?
What exactly is interesting?
Well, staying in connection with people when there's been a decision to, maybe not connect, then still staying in contact. That's
So wait.
Most of my experience is that,
So in this scenario, someone says, I want to do this with you, and you say, no, I don't want to do that. Whenever there's a no, I don't want to do that, it's because generally because I want to do this. And so the no is bringing your authenticity in, and authenticity creates connection. Actually, no, that doesn't really work for me. But I propose this. What do you think about that? I got a yes for that. Bringing your voice into a space rather than holding back is an anger practice. You either use anger to set a boundary and say no to yourself, no, I'm not going to speak that. Or like we just did, we use the same energy to say, yes, I'm going to bring my voice in. I'm going to speak up about what I want. I'm going to ask for some time where we can sit and talk together. and create clarity that, have you got 20 minutes? Let's set a timer. Because anger creates clarity when it's used in a healthy way. It brings clarity. It's what's the main word that we use when we work with anger. So creating distinctions, creating clarity, building containers, defining things, creating agreements, all of these are required. Anger is needed to create all of these things.
What still rings as an echo is the no is the end of the conversation.
Mm.
And I had a sense that there was a little smile emerging on your face, because it looked a little bit like something else may also be possible. I don't want to speak for you, but anger is the energy that ends something and starts something. So yeah, maybe the no is a complete sentence with a point, but something else is also possible. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that sounds like
I will invite that curiosity.
yeah. Can experiment with it. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, on the flip side of every no is a yes. On the flip side of every yes is a no. Because whenever you say no to something, you're saying yes to something else. Whenever I say yes, I'm going for that, you're saying no to everything else that you could be doing when you're saying yes to that. So they really go hand in hand. And when you get clear on what you have a yes and a no for, and then you can communicate it, that creates a hell of amount of trust. But if I don't trust that you have a handle on your no, if I don't trust that you can say no, then your yes doesn't really mean anything to me. Because how can I trust if you really mean yes if you can't say no? And it's a piece to really consider for yourself, but also for people that are important to you in your life. And it might sound simple. Oh yeah, I can say yes and no. But how often do we go, yeah, I'll do that. But yeah, there's already a question mark, and you can hear it, the question mark in the yes. It's not, yes, I'm there. Yeah. And people sense that. And they don't quite trust the yes. And then how can they trust your no? It goes both ways. So no isn't a wall. It's just a possibility for something else. But I know in my experience as a little 4 or 5-year-old girl, when I heard no enough times, it just became this deflating experience in my body. No. Oh, what about no? It was a wall that I felt really challenged, and then I just let go of any possibility of staying and meeting that no and being able to stay in a conversation. Oh, I hear you no. Let's explore what else is possible, rather than, oh no, okay, I'll disappear then. To be able to stay in the tension and feel the no. And then that takes us into the terrain of fear work, because learning to trust our anger also means we need to be able to work with our fear. The more anger comes up, the more our fear raises, the more we stay with a no, the more we step into the territory of unknown. Well, okay, there's a no to that proposal, and now we don't know. Now we're in unknown territory. And fear
Which
is,
then brings us directly to sadness, because that is about connection. So it's all linked.
yeah,
So that's why it's also not possible to sort of focus in on, like, I want to only deal with this type of feeling. The others will come. They influence, they inform each other. And in the best of cases, they inform us of the next step to take in the here and now, as in to navigate from the feeling. And to be authentic, to make proposals, to feel the sadness when there's a no, and I would like to feel a yes, to hear yes. To be able to say, oh, I feel really sad when something ends that I didn't want it to end. So there's a lot of room for authenticity that opens up when feelings become okay, or more so are welcome in relationship.
yeah. So, really learning to trust your anger is first choosing to step towards it and build a relationship. I'm just coming back to what we were speaking about at the beginning. If you want to build a relationship with your partner and maybe you send them a text message once a fortnight, it's not going to be much of a relationship that's going to nourish you. It's kind of the same with your feelings. If you keep pushing them away and ignoring the little low-level signals, you just build this numbness bar inside of your body where you just can't hear them anymore because you've learnt to numb yourself. So a lot of this feelings-informed work, which the anger work that we offer is part of, it's about learning to look at how you numb yourself, lowering your numbness bar, being able to sense in your body, being able to be in your body, to listen to your feelings, and to let slowly this emotional charge that you're holding move through, so that you can come into a relationship with this warrior or warrioress, which is your healthy functional anger, and the intuitive part of your fear, the magician or the sorceress, that is actually the healthy function of your fear. Provides signals, is sensory awareness. Signals, anger takes action, signal action. They work really well together. They're really good friends. And your sadness is this beautiful lover. Softness, listening, self-love. Yeah, lover, communicator. And then you can, when you've got these guys on your side and your team, then you can really step into this sovereign being or king or queen or whatever you want to call that, genderized or not, which is your joy. Super magnetic inspiration, sparkling. Where do you want to bring your energy and your life force energy into the world? And this is why we created a body of work called Reclaiming Anger, as opposed to starting with reclaiming fear or sadness or joy, because, as Gero said before, anger is the gateway feeling. In order to say no to our own authentic impulses, any of those feelings, we're using anger to set a boundary. And so we need to start with the boundary. We need to start working with that energy, which is anger, and let it loosen and start to work with that and trust that, so that we can then really drop into this vessel, fully incarnate, be in this body, let it have energy flowing through it and serve us, and use this compass, this internal navigating compass, just like northwest, southeast on the compass that we navigate with out there. Anger, sadness, fear, joy. It's the internal compass. So much information's available. when you really trust your anger. And if you want to dive deeper into this, there's a training coming up at the end of March, Reclaiming Anger training. It's not just going to be about anger, but it is about reclaiming your anger, learning to trust your anger, learning to trust your body with anger flowing through it at high levels, low levels, and navigating with fear and sadness and joy along the way, which just inevitably comes up, bubbles up, shakes through the space. Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, so Gera's coming out. This year is the 10-year anniversary of Reclaiming Anger. We started that body of work on the 2nd of April, 10 years ago. And yeah, it's funny, we were talking about it last year. Gera's coming out to Australia. Let's run a Reclaiming Anger together for old time's sake. And then we realized, oh, it's 10 years. Let's run a 10-year anniversary edition. So that's what's happening. That's happening of the last weekend in March. I'll send you some info. You can have a look at that if you wish. Love to see you there. It will be an intensive, fun, powerful, big weekend in Melbourne, 3.5 days. Yes. And if you are coming, and if you want to come and you're coming from interstate, there are a couple of people that may be willing to host people. There's also somebody else flying down from interstate that might be willing to share a space, rent a space. So yeah, we can support that if that's helpful. Yeah. Any?
Love to hear a sentence
Yeah.
as a check out from each of you before we almost on time will close the space. What's alive in you? What are you taking away?
Well, I want to refine it a little further because we're at 8:30 and I like to keep time commitments. So I'd love to just hear one, maximum 2 words. Like what 2 words come up that you associate with anger from this new position that you're in? From your body.
I've got the curiosity now, like that. And I guess conscious curiosity, like I really want to be okay with anger inside me and really get to know that a little better, rather than it being a mental, crazy sort of idea of anger. Is really just sit with it and understand it a little bit better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
New opportunity.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, for me, curiosity and motivation. Motivated to.
Great.
Thank you.
Choosing life.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel satisfaction to be in this space with you, and also curious what will unfold for each of you. What are your 2 words, Gera?
Joy and curiosity. Cheryl.
Yeah. Cheryl has shared.
Oh yeah, maybe I'll drop that. My word, curiosity and motivation for mine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you for showing up with us and going on this unknown journey into what it could look like to trust your anger more. And if you have questions that come up, reach out, and I look forward to see you, hopefully in person somewhere or online somewhere soon.
Thank you, Stacia. That was
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much.
See you.
Bye.